Hello, NWA Kross Fire Wrestling fans. Listen, Harvest has came and went, and now we're going into November. We're going to be talking about a really cool event we have coming up, but also we're going to be talking about the aftermath of Black Harvest. 2 nights, 2 monumental nights. Mm-hmm. Guys, I mean, for me, it set the pace for what KFW is supposed to be now and moving forward.
Yeah, I think, just such a different night with the band there. The band added a lot. Everybody delivered. I think opening up the show with Hunter and Rich Swann, that was just, I think it was the greatest opening in Black Harvest history. And that's 20 years,
Even going into night 2, we shot, what was it? It was like a few months ago, we shot the short film with Kinsey versus Ghostface, and you had some reservations about that, showing that, right?
Yeah, I was worried that people were going to make fun of me for it. I told you that.
Well, but listen, at the same time, I don't think a lot of wrestling shows are giving people stuff like that.
Yeah, true.
So for me and all of us, I think I speak for all of us, the idea was to really expand upon that VIP and pre-show process and what it means to fans and what you get whenever you come in the door. So once we stepped back from those 2 nights, it became kind of an epiphany of, okay, November 14th, the family gathering, right? Moving forward, we wanted to bring you guys something special to do for that VIP process. And Tommy, you can take us into a little bit of that.
Well, we came up with the idea. I've always thought we've been really close with our fans, and I think that's, one thing that has made us different. Like, we've seen fans there at this past Harvest from, like, people who had first been to our shows, right? Hope, and several other. But, I said, dude, why don't we just do a VIP package? And, we were already going to have a Thanksgiving dinner with all of our guys, via the Henrys. And I was like, dude, let's just open it up to the fans, So for the VIP fans, you get to come in, pay $30. You get all kinds of extra stuff, but you get to have, a legit
Thanksgiving-style dinner.
Thanksgiving dinner with us, And we're going to have ham and turkey platters and... I don't know. I think I sound like Mary Allen now.
Well, and also we call it the family gathering. So the idea is that you kind of get to have dinner and history with us because we're going to be up there. Everyone from the Henry family is going to be up there. And if you guys remember at Black Harvest, we did a thing called Harvest Legacy where we had all these moments from Harvest, and Tommy and I broke them down for you. We're going to do that again.
Well, you broke them down.
Yeah, you just made crass comments, but we're going to do that again, and we're going to pick out moments from all of our respective careers in KFW, and we're going to kind of talk about those moments that were important to us. And some of them may be totally new for you fans. Like, we're going to be pulling up, I want to show the footage of your very first Black Harvest match. Which, if you remember, it was me and you teaming up to take on you and I think Wayne Atkins and Keith Knox. So, and I don't want to get too much into it because I want to save that for that. But we're going to break down and talk about those moments and really give you guys an insider in a version of what it means to be a part of the Henry family and how we try and put this stuff together. I can already tell that makes you nervous,
which by the way, you've seen a little bit of that on Carneyland, the episode 9, 10, I think, that was a heavy focus on how we really are, and so that was pretty cool to be a part of that. So anytime you get to see some insight into this crazy family, I guess for some it's pretty cool.
Now, speaking of Harvest, I do want to get into talking about you and winning that KFW title.
Look at the eyeball. Look at her eye.
Yeah. That KFW title is being sent off right now. It's being spiffed up into something totally new that's going to be presented to you guys on the 14th. But going into that match, did you feel a lot of pressure? Or how was your mindset going into it, especially going up against someone like Hoovie and Jackson Drake, who was on fire as well?
Yeah. Well, I think for me, it was kind of like the story going into it of like, I've had one KFW shot, and that was against Juventud, and he beat me. So now I'm going into my second ever, this is my 9th year wrestling, second ever chance at it. And, you know, it was special because you were going to be in that match with me, right? And then some unfortunate things happened. So that almost added pressure of like, if I can't win it for me, I'm going to win it for both of us. So as long as it didn't go to Jackson or Hoovie and it came to me, that's what I was worried about. But like you said, Jackson's on fire. Juventud's held it for how long? 3 years? That would have been his 4th year. So a lot was going against me, and like Dad said, like I have a black eye, like there's makeup on it now, but I didn't get to walk out of it just scotch clean.
So the huge standout moment.
But neither did he, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we seen Skylar come into play. I mean, it just goes to show that you're right. I mean, this show coming up on the 14th, getting to spend a little bit of time and get closer with us, I think it is pretty cool, man, because going back to what I said, Matthew, you always know that we always try to keep like a legit family setting. You know what I mean?
Well, at least trying, I mean, whether it came off looking like, you know, a family setting or whether it came off looking like Jerry Springer 2.0, you know, and like it's, you know, it's us. It's always been raw and unfiltered. It's always been real to an extent.
Yeah.
You know, and
I like how we play off each other though. Like you have a very corporate attitude from doing, you definitely came back with a corporate attitude from doing like FrankenCon and other things. And I'm just kind of like real. So I don't know.
Well, I spent over the past 10 years, you know, where I go to these music festivals every year. And they're a spectacle. And then I started doing FrankenCon with Richard and Corey, and that's a whole convention. And that's what I wanted to bring into Harvest this past year, was aspects of that. So we had that sit-down podcast. Then we brought in the band. Then we had a short film. And that was what I wanted to do, was try and make our wrestling events more than wrestling events.
You're basically trying to take all the credits. Wow.
No, I mean, that was all in conjunction with you guys. That was me coming to you and saying,
it was
what do you
great,
think about
dude.
this? And you reined me in. You know,
You even heard
I get too
Shane,
ambitious.
you know, the King Shane. He said, man, you know, this is probably the smoothest Harvest I've seen. I would have to agree. I mean, for 2 nights, I remember the last time we did one for 2 nights, it was a little bit wild. I think we left the ring, just getting to leave the ring up, and, you know, it was just much more smoother this time, and I think it's because, you know, a lot of things shifted whenever we became part of the National Wrestling Alliance. I mean, it's something we don't really touch on, or haven't got a chance to touch on one, which, by the way, hopefully we're going to get, like, podcasts, microphones, and do this thing the right way eventually, but we're kind of doing bare minimum right now. But, yeah, it's just, I'm so happy with everything, man.
Well, and even going back to years ago, like 10, 15 years ago, we had tried to do a band before. And it just didn't work. For whatever it was.
That's the night we booked Stevie Richards.
Yes, and we did Night of Rock. And there was a mindset. For one, wrestling has changed so much just in 10 years. Where wrestling was really very straight-laced. A lot of your fan base was, you know, 40 and up. Where there's been this resurgence of younger people that have came back into the fold. So it's just a totally different world than what it was 10 years ago. So bringing in the Rock and Metal Academy, those guys absolutely killed. And creating an atmosphere. You know? That first night ending with the entire with the crowd getting in the ring with you, that was a moment. And then going into that second night, now I didn't think it was right for me to be in that title match because I have some of my own stuff going on, some diagnoses, and I go for an MRI with contrast here pretty soon to find out what's going on. But I was able to perform on that second night, and I had you as kind of a special enforcer there. And a lot of the current stars or the current fans, they don't know a lot about those talents that were there the first 5 years. But me going up against Overkill, and Overkill is the KFW original, and we kind of broke that down for the fans during the Harvest Legacy. And you kind of made a comment to me, which made me feel really good. And I'll just kind of let you expound upon that because you were at ringside for that.
Oh, I was just out there, man. I was watching. I was like, man, it's just like turning back the clock 20 years or something here, you know? So it was a very cool moment. I'm glad that the match was able to happen. You know, it definitely 20 years, you want to have a little bit of old flavor there, right? And a lot of our fans who had seen a lot of these harvests was there. So, and just giving them some old school. And, but there was a lot of matches, dude, that like, I mean, you think outside the box here, Chase and Shane and JAC versus, you know, Javen, and Little Perez, man. Little Perez is always getting into something.
And that was a 2-night deal because, you know, there was the backstabbing and all that, and the
story
cheatery that happened on that first night flowed over into the second night. And then we didn't expect it, but Rich Swann performing in that first match on the first night. And then what came to you guys and what happened? Was it that his flight was...
No, he just said if I could stay an extra night, man. And, or what is
He
it?
actually messaged me and was like, that's the most fun I've had in a long time. But he came up to us the first night and was like, if you can change that flight, I will wrestle tomorrow just because I want to be around you guys in wrestle.
Yeah,
I think it was the exact words.
Yeah, and what a great opening to the second night with you and him and Hunter and all that, and doing this always.
Yeah, going forward, I definitely see Rich Swann being, you know, a pretty much like a semi-regular with us, because just super over, dude. He did great.
And then on top of all that, we had Clara taking the women's title. And did Kylie got involved in that somehow?
Yes, on the first night, yeah. It was Mickey versus Shauna versus Clara for the NWA Women's Kross Fire Championship. And as things start to break down, you don't know if Shauna's about to win, Clara, or Mickey. Kylie comes in, God, we love her. She comes in a blinged out ghost face mask. When I say
it was like rhinestone covered. It was like covered in rhinestone.
And she came in with the nastiest headbutt. She did it straight to Mickey. Oh my goodness.
A rhinestone headbutt?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yes. And then she.
Well, I mean, not cool for Mickey.
Yeah, not cool for Mickey, but the moment.
Well, I think it's what we're all thinking here. Did we get baby Kylie, versus Mickey in a death match?
Mm-hmm.
That's
being drugged into a completely different world.
I always try and, speaking of my deal, I always try and approach Harvest because I've had like my back injuries and I've had these things that have happened to me. So I always approach every Harvest like this might be my last one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll never forget, I was sitting there with Carmen, and I just a huge shout out to Carmen and his crew.
Yeah, Carmen and Rob, for sure.
Carmen and Rob. And, you know, he was like, you know, you have the band playing you out. What else do you want to do? And I was like, well, they're playing me out to Helter Skelter, so I wanted to do, I wanted on the screen for it to just be glimpses of Charles Manson, like in prison, doing crazy shit. So, you know, I always try and approach it like that. And even after the match was over, I shook Overkill's hand, and, you know, the fans couldn't hear it, but he asked me, and, you know, he's like, why are you shaking my hand? And I was like, well, you never know, dude. This may be the last Harvest that we go up against each other. You know, because who knows what will happen next year? I may be in the position to finally go for the belt. I'm just saying, like, you know, and you never know what's going on. But moving forward, whenever we come up on November 14th and a family gathering, this concept of doing this VIP program where you guys get a meal and then you get to sit down and you get to listen to the Henrys break down some of those.
Dude, we're gonna have dad there.
I know. And some of those vital
They call it Papa Tommy. We're gonna have Papa Tommy.
And all of our career. I may even show the time Shane Williams pile driving. You know,
Dad said, "Look, I'll go to it, buddy, as long as you don't cuss or carry on.
Cuss or
Dad,
carry
you're
on,
not gonna
yeah,
look at
yeah,
me.
yeah.
We're not going to do that.
But then also something that I thought about that I think would be really cool is you fans have always came up to Kenzie, Tommy, myself, and we've always taken photos with you guys, but we've never given you guys a chance to take a photo with the entire Henry family. And I
It really sounds like we're putting ourselves over there.
But, I mean,
when you think about it, but it is kind of cool, I guess. You're right. It's like, you know how families get like the 4th generation pick or 5th.
Yeah.
I mean, look, who knows how long we're going to look. I hope we're here forever.
This is the Thanksgiving event.
That's what I was gonna say. At holidays, what do families do? They take the photo.
No,
You're
I'm
not
saying
Thanksgiving dinner.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, I do want to do that because who knows how long I'm going to be here. Here's a little 411 last night. Henry was almost gone. Blood pressure went up. And
You gotta help with those energy drinks.
I drink those Alanis and I called Kenzie. I was like, dude, you got to get Caitlin or something, man. I almost went to the hospital. I mean, I'm serious. I almost went to the hospital. But I don't know why I brought that up. I feel like I'm rambling now, but I thought it was just a good story.
Well, my sister's a nurse, and she came over here and said he was okay.
Yeah.
It's from the
Perfect.
Alanis.
Then they put medicine down my throat and I fell asleep. And,
Like with a tooth,
it's just, they were like, take this.
turned on the blood
They said
fire.
it was literally like, you need to take this. And
No,
it was like
you're
it was like the
no.
propanol from freaking Michael Jackson. Like,
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding. So, well, hey, that's another thing. I told you this. I told you, yeah. I told you that whenever we did these podcasts, I do want them to be kind of like lax a day school. I love the Tom Green podcast. The originator, right?
Yes, he was
So-
the first one, then Rogan came
And if
along.
you haven't seen Tom Green's, I told you this during the match. If you haven't seen Tom Green's podcast with Steve-O, the first one, go check
Oh
it
my
out.
God.
Go check it out.
So again, guys, so building into these new VIP events. I mentioned it at Harvest, and I'll go ahead and tell you guys here as well. Is that the FrankenCon event that I'm a part of every year? We bring in horror actors from some of your favorite 1980s films. If you go to frankencontn.com, you can kind of check out what we're doing this year. But we're going to be bringing in a few horror-themed wrestlers. We'll drop that information soon. And NWA Kross Fire is going to be doing an event during the weekend of FrankenCon. So we're partnering up. And I had a conversation with you the other day. As soon as Harvest was over, I had I saw this kind of epiphany between what I do with FrankenCon and kind of what we do with wrestling and what we could do. And it is very ambitious. And we're going to build towards that. I'm not going to mention anything about it now, but just understand that after this past Harvest, the landscape has definitely changed on what we provide to you guys as the fans, as our family, and what we give to you. And that's only gonna grow.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, and what a show to grow off of, man. Like, the band was good. We did a lot of new things that night. So I do feel like we're strong. We're running stronger than we ever have. There's always hiccups. There's always stress going into it. And usually some of the best stuff is behind the camera.
Mhm.
Whenever the family
Yeah.
is not, in real kind of gnawing at each other.
Yeah.
Got into it with Kenzie. Didn't talk to her for like a day
Yeah.
because of the show.
Which, can I say
Which is
just
so
really
cool.
quick?
It's
we don't
part.
care.
It's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to say this. Like you said, we tried a lot of new
There's
things.
some stuff you said though that. No, I'm just kidding. No.
We tried a lot of new things, and Matthew, I know you know this.
Mm.
Dad doesn't like change, especially on the biggest show. So for
Oh,
him
gosh.
to
No.
be able to accept that and hand over stuff to people like Matthew and Carmen, and shout out Jamal. We've not
Man,
shout out
Jamal.
Yeah.
Like,
Man,
Yeah.
Go,
1,000%.
I don't even know where to start there.
I just remember him coming to me halfway through the show and being like, "Hey, do you want me to kill the lights for your entrance, and then I can put this steam that shoots up out of the ground?" And I was like, "Dude, Jamal has turned into this
To our
amazing
version of Kevin
production."
Dunn.
Yeah, exactly.
He's our
Yeah,
Kevin Dunn.
yeah, and then him and Carmen working together on making sure that the shots are correct and that things are now being put on YouTube and so that you fans get to enjoy.
Yeah,
these
the
things.
social media game's changed. things are looking up, man. Yeah, things are. I mean, sky's the limit, right? When you're under the banner of the NWA, and we work for Billy Corgan, we have a job to do and send talent there, and we've got some talent. Some contracts and some that are still coming up for people. So where do we go from here, man? We just keep going higher.
A few shout outs that I want to give, guys.
Sports animal,
exactly. Yeah.
Our tag team champions, Will and Tyler.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Hoovy for being a mainstay with us.
A great champion.
Rich Swan for just being an awesome human being.
Kennedy was awesome too.
Kennedy was amazing. I got to help him do his insurance, which was really cool. Shout out to him. Shout out to Richard, because we did the podcast on that first day with Kennedy and Hoovy, and that went super smooth. And then just keep a lookout, because we're going to be dropping all this information officially for November.
Shout out to all the talent too, man. I mean, everybody back there really killed it. I mean, they really did a good job. I was really proud. So shout out to the talent. We thank you. And what are you going to wrap it up with?
Yeah, we'll see you on November 14th. We're going to be dropping all this information so that you guys know exactly what's going to be going on. But just think about it like this. You're going to be having Thanksgiving dinner with the Henrys, and that's for VIP. That's what it is.
It's going to be better.
Okay. So we will see you on November 14th. And let's keep going. Let's keep pushing.
Yep. Amen.